The cargo ship moved through empty space like it had done 1,000 times before. Hyojin Beck sat in the pilot seat, checking her route numbers for the 3rd time that hour. Trading between star systems was boring work, but it paid well enough. She had fuel to deliver to a mining station 3 jumps away. Her scanner beeped. She glanced at it, expecting another piece of space junk. Instead, she saw something odd, a signal. Weak and broken, but definitely a signal. Hyojin changed course. Her ship turned toward the signal source. It took 20 minutes to get close enough. What she found made her stop breathing for a second. A small ship floated in the dark. It was damaged badly. Holes covered its hull. The engines were dead. Hyojin had seen wrecked ships before, but this one looked different. The design was strange. Organic curves instead of straight lines. She had never seen anything like it. She opened a channel. "This is the merchant ship Golden Sky. Do you need help?" Static filled her speakers. Then a voice came through, soft and tired. "Please, we need help. My people are dying." Hyojin locked onto the ship with her tractor beam. She pulled it into her cargo bay. When the bay pressurized, she grabbed her medical kit and ran down the ladder. The airlock on the strange ship opened slowly. A figure stumbled out. Hyojin caught them before they fell. The being was tall and thin. Their skin looked like pale blue silk. Large eyes stared at her with fear and hope mixed together. "I am Liz," the being said. "I am Quilin." Hyojin helped Liz to the medical room. She gave them water and checked for injuries. Liz had cuts and burns, but nothing immediately dangerous. While Hyojin worked, Liz talked. "My people are peaceful. We have lived on our world for thousands of years. We have no weapons. We have never needed them." Liz's voice shook. "Then the Turvans came. They want our planet. They are killing us. Millions are already dead." Hyojin stopped working. She stared at Liz. "Your government called for help, right?" "The Galactic Council." Liz made a sound like crying. "We begged them. They said they cannot interfere. They have laws. Laws that say they must not get involved in conflicts. They will only watch and document what happens to us." "That's insane," Hyojin said. "I took a ship. I thought maybe someone would help if they knew." "If they saw?" Liz reached into their clothing and pulled out a small device. "I recorded everything. The attacks. The deaths. The children. Please, will you take this to someone who might care?" Hyojin took the device. Her hands felt cold. "I'll take it to Earth, to my government. I'll make sure they see it." 2 days later, Hyojin's ship landed on Earth. She went straight to the government building in Seoul. She demanded to see someone important. The guards tried to send her away. She refused to leave. Finally, someone agreed to see her. Ambassador Taemin Choi met her in a small office. He was a kind-looking man with gray hair and tired eyes. He listened to her story without interrupting. When she finished, he held out his hand for the device. "Show me," he said. They watched the recordings together. Hyojin had already seen them during her flight home. They still made her sick. Cities burning. People running. Ships firing on crowds. Bodies in the streets. Taemin watched all of it. His face got harder with each minute. When it ended, he stood up. "Come with me." He took her to a larger room. President Dalnim Song was there with other government leaders. Admiral Daejung Park stood near a wall screen. Captain Hana Lee sat at the table. Others filled the remaining seats. Taemin showed them the recordings. The room went silent. When the video ended, nobody spoke for a long moment. Admiral Park broke the silence. "Who are the Turvans?" "A military empire," Taemin said. "They have been expanding for decades. They take worlds they want. The Galactic Council considers them legal because they follow certain rules. They declare war properly. They offer surrender terms. The fact that those terms mean slavery or death does not matter to the Council." "And the Quilin?" President Song asked. "Pacifists. They have advanced medical technology and art. No weapons. No military. They never thought they would need them." Taemin paused. "The Council will not help them. Why not?" Captain Lee asked. "Non-interference laws. Each species must solve their own problems. Outside intervention is forbidden unless both sides agree to mediation." Taemin's voice got sharp. "The Turvans will never agree, so the Council will just watch them die," Lee said. "Yes." The room erupted with voices. People argued about galactic law and consequences. Some said Earth could not risk making enemies. Others said they could not ignore genocide. The argument got louder. President Song raised her hand. Everyone went quiet. Admiral Park, she said. Can we help them? Park stepped forward. Yes, Madam President. We have ships ready. We have trained forces. The Quillen system is 2 weeks away at full speed. What will it cost us? The Turvans will become our enemies. The Galactic Council will condemn us. We might face sanctions or isolation. Park met her eyes. But we will save lives. Many lives, Song looked around the room. She studied each face. Then she looked at Hyojin. You could have ignored that signal. You could have delivered your fuel and gone home. Why did you not? Hyojin stood straighter. Because they asked for help. How could I just fly away? Song smiled sadly. She turned to the others. I have decided. We will answer the Quillen call for help. We will send our fleet to protect them. If the galaxy wants to condemn us for stopping murder, then let them. Taemin stepped closer. Madam President, this will change everything. Earth has stayed neutral in galactic politics. If we do this, we take sides. We make enemies. I know, Song said. But when we hear people screaming for help, we do not ask for permission to save them. We act. That is what makes us human. She turned to Admiral Park. Prepare the fleet. I want ships moving within 6 hours, Park saluted. Yes, Madam President. Song looked at Captain Lee. You will command the first response group. Your mission is simple. Protect the Quillen. Stop the killing. Do whatever's necessary. Lee stood and saluted. I will not let you down. Within hours, Earth space stations buzzed with activity. Ships powered up. Crews loaded supplies. Weapons were checked and rechecked. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of her ship, the Indomitable. She watched her fleet gather around her. 15 ships. Not a huge force, but enough. Hyojin stood beside her. Lee had asked her to come along. You started this, Lee had said. You should see it through. On Earth, President Song addressed the planet. Her speech was broadcast everywhere. Today, we learned about a people who are dying. The galaxy has rules that say we cannot help them. I say those rules are wrong. We go to defend the Quillen because it is right. We go because when someone calls for help, humanity answers. The fleet jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, Earth prepared for whatever would come next. Ahead of them, the Quillen waited and hoped. Between them and the Quillen, the Turvan Empire had no idea what was coming. The galaxy was about to shake. 2 weeks in hyperspace felt like forever. Captain Hana Lee walked through her ship every day, checking on her crew. They were ready. Nervous but ready. Most of them had never been in real combat before. Neither had she, not like this. Training exercises were one thing. War was different. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Quillen space. Lee stared at the main screen. A blue and green planet hung in the distance. 3 moons orbited around it. It looked peaceful. Then the sensors started screaming. Multiple contacts, her tactical officer called out. Commander Junho Kang worked his console fast. Turvan ships. 20 of them. They are attacking the surface, Lee watched the screen. Red markers appeared around the planet. Turvan warships. They were firing down at the cities below. She could see the energy beams cutting through the atmosphere. All ships, battle formation, Lee ordered. Prepare weapons. Her fleet moved into position. 15 ships against 20. Not great odds, but they had surprise on their side. Send a message to the Turvan ships, Lee said. Tell them to stop their attack and leave immediately. Kang opened a channel. They waited. A face appeared on the screen. The Turvan looked like a massive reptile walking upright. Thick scales covered his skin. Yellow eyes stared at them with contempt. I am Commander Zeth of the Turvan Empire, the alien said. You are trespassing in our combat zone. Leave now or be destroyed. Lee stepped forward. I am Captain Hana Lee of Earth. You are committing genocide. We order you to stop and withdraw. Zeth laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Earth? I have never heard of you. You have no authority here. This planet belongs to the Empire now. No, Lee said. It does not. She cut the channel. All ships, open fire. The Indomitable shook as its weapons fired. Energy beams and missiles shot across space. The rest of her fleet followed. The Turvans were caught completely off guard. 3 Turvan ships exploded in the first 30 seconds. The others scattered, trying to form a defensive line. They fired back. Red energy bolts filled the space between the 2 fleets. Evasive maneuvers, Lee ordered. Her ship twisted and turned. Turvan weapons fire passed by, missing by meters. Kang worked his console with intense focus. Their shields are strong, but their ships turn slowly. We are faster. Use that, Lee said. All ships, rapid strike pattern. Hit and move. Do not stay still. The human fleet broke formation. Each ship chose its own target. They flew in ways the Tervans could not predict, diving under enemy ships, rolling over them. Firing from angles the Tervans did not expect. It worked. 4 more Tervan ships went down. But the Tervans were learning. They started firing in wider patterns. One human ship took a direct hit. Its shields held, barely. "Ma'am, I have an idea," Kang said. "Their formation has a gap in the center. If we push through fast enough, we can split their force in half." Lee studied the tactical display. He was right. The Tervans had spread out too much. There was space between their ships. "Do it," she said. "All ships follow Indomitable." Full speed through their center. Her ship accelerated. The stars stretched around them. Tervan fire filled the space ahead. Lee gripped her chair. They flew straight into it. Explosions burst around them. The shields flickered but held. They shot through the gap. Half the fleet followed. The Tervan formation broke apart. Now the Tervans had enemies on both sides. They did not know which way to turn. Human ships swarmed them like angry wasps. "Captain, I am detecting civilian ships near the planet," Kang reported. "They are fleeing the surface. The Tervans are pursuing them." Lee saw them on the screen. Small ships, maybe 100 of them. Quillan civilians trying to escape. 3 Tervan fighters chased after them. "Pilot Sora Han, are you ready?" Lee asked into the comm. "Always ready, Captain," a woman's voice replied. "Take your squadron. Protect those civilian ships." On it. 20 human fighters launched from the Indomitable and 2 other carriers. They shot toward the fleeing Quillan ships like missiles. Sora led them with perfect precision. The Tervan fighters saw them coming. They turned to engage. Big mistake. The human fighters were small and fast. They danced around the Tervan fire. Sora's fighter flew directly at the lead Tervan. At the last second, she rolled sideways and fired. Her shots hit the Tervan's cockpit. The enemy fighter exploded. Her squadron took out the other 2 in seconds. "Civilian ships, this is Earth Fighter Command," Sora said. "Follow us. We will get you to safety." The Quillan ships followed the human fighters back toward the main fleet. Lee ordered 3 of her ships to form a protective screen around them. The main battle continued. The Tervans were down to 11 ships. They started pulling back. "They are retreating," Kang said. "Let them run," Lee replied. "Our mission is to protect the Quillan, not chase enemies." The remaining Tervan ships jumped away into hyperspace. The space around the planet went quiet. Lee let out a breath she did not know she was holding. "Damage report," she ordered. 2 ships have heavy shield damage. 1 has engine problems. No hull breaches. "No casualties," Kang reported. "We won, Captain." Lee nodded. But she did not feel victorious. She felt tired. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the planet," the communications officer said. "It is Ambassador Liss. Put them on screen." Liss appeared. They looked different now. Cleaner. Healthier. But their eyes were still sad. "Captain Lee, you came." "You actually came." "We said we would help," Lee replied. "You fought for us. You bled for us. We have never seen such a thing." Liss touched their chest in what looked like a gesture of respect. "The Tervans have been attacking us for 2 months. Millions of my people are dead. We called for help 100 times. Only Earth answered." Lee felt something hard form in her chest. Anger at a galaxy that could ignore such suffering. "We will stay as long as you need us." "How many wounded do you have?" "Too many to count. Our medical facilities are overwhelmed. We have doctors. We have supplies. We will send them down immediately." Lee turned to her crew. "Get me Dr. Yuna Kim." 10 minutes later, shuttles launched toward the planet. Dr. Kim led a team of medical personnel and supplies. She was a small woman with quick hands and a gentle voice. But Lee had seen her work. She was the best. On the surface, Kim and her team found horror. Hospitals overflowing with injured Quillan. The Quillan doctors were exhausted. They had been working for days without sleep. Kim organized everything fast. She set up triage stations. She showed the Quillan doctors human medical techniques. Together they worked through the night and into the next day. Lives were saved that would have been lost. On the Indomitable, Lee received a priority message from Earth. She read it alone in her quarters. The Galactic Council had sent an official complaint to Earth. They condemned the human intervention. They demanded Earth withdraw immediately and face punishment for breaking non-interference laws. Lee deleted the message. She did not care what the Council thought. Another message came. This one from the Tervan Empire. The words were simple and threatening. You have made yourselves enemies of the Empire. We will return with more ships. We will destroy you and take what is ours. You cannot stop us. Lee saved that message. She forwarded it to Admiral Park and President Song. Then she walked to the bridge. Kang, I want this planet defended properly, she said. Set up sensor nets. Deploy satellites. If anything comes into this system, I want to know about it before they even finish their jump. Yes, Captain. Lee looked at the planet on the screen. Somewhere down there, Quilin families were sleeping safely for the first time in months. Children were not running from bombs. Parents were not burying their young. Hyojin walked onto the bridge. She had been down on the planet helping distribute supplies. The Quilin want to thank you personally. They are holding a ceremony tomorrow. Tell them I will attend, Lee said. She turned to look at Hyojin. You were right to bring this to us. What we did here today mattered. What happens when the Turvans come back? Hyojin asked. We will be ready, Lee said. And we will not be alone. I have a feeling this is just the beginning. She was right. Messages were already traveling across the galaxy. Word of Earth's actions was spreading. Some species were horrified. Others were quietly impressed. And a few were starting to wonder if maybe, just maybe, someone had finally found the courage to stand up to the bullies. The news spread across the galaxy like fire in dry grass. Earth, a species barely known to most civilizations, had attacked Turvan forces. They had broken the most sacred law of the Galactic Council. They had interfered in a conflict that was not theirs. The reactions came fast. On the Turvan homeworld, High Chancellor Morn watched the reports with cold rage. He was old for a Turvan, his scales more gray than green, but his mind was still sharp, and his anger burned hot. This Earth, he said to his generals. What do we know about them? General Krath stepped forward. He had led Turvan forces for 30 years. He had conquered 12 worlds. The defeat at Quillen Space was his first loss. It stung like acid. They are from a planet in the outer regions. They have been space-capable for less than 200 years. By our standards, they are children. Children who killed 8 of our ships, Morn said quietly. Quiet was more dangerous than shouting with him. Children who made us retreat. They surprised us, Krath said. They fight in unpredictable ways. Their tactics make no sense. They should not have won. But they did. Morn turned to face his generals. I want Earth destroyed, not conquered, not occupied, destroyed. I want their planet burned and their people erased. They need to be an example. When others think about interfering with the Empire, they will remember what happened to Earth. Krath bowed. It will be done, Chancellor. I will assemble our full battle fleet. 300 ships. We will crush them. Do it quickly, Morn said, before they can call for help. But Earth was not calling for help. Earth was preparing for war. Admiral Dae-Jung Park stood in the military command center beneath Seoul. Holographic displays surrounded him, showing ship positions, supply lines, and tactical projections. The data was not encouraging. The Turvans have started moving forces, his intelligence officer reported. They are gathering ships from across their territory. We estimate they will have 300 warships ready within 1 month. How many can we field? Park asked. 70 combat-ready ships, maybe 80 if we rush the last construction runs. Park did the math silently. Almost 4-to-1 odds. He had won battles with worse odds, but never against an enemy like this. The Turvans had been fighting wars for centuries. We need advantages, Park said. Get me Engineer Boram Yang. Boram arrived an hour later. She was younger than Park expected, maybe 30 years old. She carried 3 tablets and looked like she had not slept in days. Admiral, she said. I heard you needed me. I need you to make our ships better, Park said. Faster, stronger, more deadly. Whatever you can do. Boram smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who loved a challenge. I have some ideas. The Turvans use brute force. Big shields, heavy armor, massive guns, they fight like they are trying to break down a wall. And we cannot match that, Park said. No, but we do not need to. Boram activated one of her tablets. Designs appeared in the air. We make our ships faster. We improve maneuvering thrusters. We add short-range jump drives for combat. We hit them and disappear before they can respond. Park studied the designs. How long? 3 weeks for the modifications. If I push my teams hard. Push them, Park said. We do not have time for slow. While Boram worked on ships, Ambassador Taemin Choi faced a different battle. He stood before the Galactic Council, surrounded by representatives from 100 species. The chamber was massive, carved from a single piece of crystal that amplified sound perfectly. The council speaker, an ancient being that looked like a floating jellyfish, addressed him with cold formality. Earth representative, you stand accused of violating the sacred law of non-interference. You attacked Turvan forces in Quillen space. You have endangered galactic peace. What do you say to these charges? Taemin looked around the chamber. Most faces showed disapproval. A few showed curiosity. 1 or 2 showed something that might have been respect. I say the charges are correct, Taemin said. We did interfere. We attacked Turvan ships, and we would do it again. Gasps filled the chamber. The speaker's color darkened. You admit your crime? Crime? Taemin's voice got harder. Tell me, Council, what is the crime here? Is it stopping murder? Is it saving lives, or is the real crime watching genocide and calling it legal? The law is clear, the speaker said. Each species must solve their own conflicts. The Quillen had no conflict, Taemin shot back. They were being exterminated. They had no weapons, no defense. You watched them die and called it law. We watched them die and called it wrong. A council member from the Velon species stood up. They looked like a tall bird with silver feathers. The law protects us all. Without it, chaos would consume the galaxy. Stronger species would dominate weaker ones. You mean like the Turvans are doing? Taemin asked. Your law allows them to conquer and kill as long as they follow procedure. That is not peace. That is organized brutality. You are young, the speaker said. You do not understand. The law has kept major wars from erupting for thousands of years. The law has let smaller wars continue, Taemin countered. You just do not call them wars. You call them internal conflicts, local disputes, natural selection. He pointed at the assembly. How many species have died while you debated whether helping them was legal? How many called for aid while you voted on proper procedures? Silence filled the chamber. Taemin pressed his advantage. Earth makes no apology. We broke your law to save lives. If that makes us criminals in your eyes, so be it. But we sleep well at night. The speaker spoke with finality. Earth is hereby condemned by this council. We will impose sanctions. No member species may trade with Earth or provide military aid. Earth stands alone. We have always stood alone, Taemin said. He turned and walked out. Back on Earth, President Dalneem Song read the council's decision. She called a meeting of her advisors. Taemin attended by video link from the council station. So we are outcasts now, Song said. How bad will this get? Trade will suffer, her economics minister said. Many species will honor the sanctions. We will lose access to certain resources and technologies. Can we survive it? Song asked. Yes. It will hurt, but we can adapt. Song turned to Admiral Park. And the military situation? The Turvans are coming with everything they have, Park said. Our intelligence suggests they plan to attack Earth directly. They want to make an example of us. When? 3 weeks, maybe 4. Song was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. Get me on every broadcast channel. I want to speak to our people. An hour later, Song's face appeared on screens across Earth. She looked tired but determined. My fellow humans, she began. You have heard by now what has happened. We saved the Quillen. We stopped a genocide. The galaxy has condemned us for it. The Turvan Empire is coming to punish us. She paused. I will not lie to you. The coming battle will be hard. We face an enemy with more ships, more experience, more resources. They think they will crush us easily. Song leaned forward. But they do not know us. They do not know what humans do when threatened. They do not know our history. They have never seen what happens when you back us into a corner and tell us we cannot win. Her voice got stronger. We did not ask for this war. We did not seek glory or conquest. We simply heard people calling for help and we answered. If that is a crime, then I am proud to be a criminal. The Turvans think they will make an example of us. They are right. We will be an example. An example of what happens when you push humanity too far. An example of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. An example of doing what is right no matter the cost. Song stood. To every human watching this, the coming days will test us, but I have faith in you. I have faith in our soldiers, our engineers, our doctors, our people. We will face this storm together, and when it is over, the galaxy will know our name. The broadcast ended. Across Earth, people watched in silence. Then, slowly, they began to move. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers. Factories increased production. Scientists worked on new weapons. Engineers modified ships. On Quillen, Captain Lee received a message from Elder Vex, the leader of the Quillen people. We have heard about the Turvan threat to your homeworld. Please, leave us and defend your people. We will not ask you to die for us. Lee read the message to her crew. Then she wrote a response. We stay. Earth is defended by our fleet, but you need us here. We gave our word to protect you. Humans do not break their word. She sent the message and turned to Commander Kang. Double our patrols. If the Turvans attack here while their main fleet goes to Earth, I want to know immediately. Captain, Kang said quietly. We should be at Earth, fighting for our home. We are fighting for our home, Lee said. Just not the planet. We are fighting for what makes us human. Our word, our honor, our refusal to abandon people who need us. She looked at him. That is worth defending. Kang nodded slowly. Yes, Captain. Across the galaxy, other species watched and waited. Some prepared to celebrate Earth's destruction. Others quietly hoped the upstart humans might somehow survive. And a few, very few, started to wonder if maybe they should help. In 3 weeks, the galaxy would have its answer. The Turvan Armada gathered at the edge of their territory. 300 warships, the largest fleet assembled in 50 years. General Krath stood on the bridge of his flagship, Dominator. Around him, lesser vessels formed perfect ranks. The sight filled him with pride. All ships report ready, his tactical officer announced. Krath nodded. Set course for Earth, maximum speed. The fleet jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, High Chancellor Morn watched on his screens. This would be quick, brutal, final. Earth would burn, and the galaxy would remember to respect Turvan power. But the Turvans were not the only ones making plans. Admiral Dae-Jung Park stood before a holographic star map. His staff surrounded him. Engineer Bo-Ram Yang was there, looking exhausted but satisfied. Commander Jun-Ho Kang attended by video link from Quillen Space. President Song watched from the back of the room. They are coming straight for Earth, Park said. 300 ships. Our scouts confirm it. We have 78 ships ready, his fleet coordinator reported. All modifications complete. Bo-Ram's upgrades are installed. Park studied the map. We cannot fight them at Earth. They will bombard the planet if they get close. Where then? Song asked. Park touched a point on the map. Here, the Dead Star system. 3 neutron stars orbit each other. The gravity is insane. The radiation is deadly. No one goes there. And we want to fight there? Kang asked from the screen. Yes. Park zoomed in on the system. The Turvans have bigger ships. More armor, more guns. But they are slow. In normal space, we have an advantage. In the Dead Star system, their size becomes a weakness. Bo-Ram stepped forward. She activated her own display. The gravitational forces will tear apart any ship that cannot maneuver precisely. We modified our ships to handle it. Reinforced hulls. Enhanced thrusters. Real-time gravity calculations. The Turvans have none of that. It is still suicide, someone said. Fighting in that system is suicide even without enemies shooting at you. It is chaos, Park agreed. But we are better at chaos than they are. They like order, formation, discipline. We will give them chaos. Song spoke from the back. Are you confident this will work? Park turned to face her. No, Madam President. I'm not confident at all. But it is our best chance, Song was quiet. Then she nodded. Do it. 2 days later, the Turvan fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. Krath expected to see human ships defending their home. Instead, he found nothing. "Where are they?" he demanded. "No contacts in the system," his sensors officer reported. "Wait, I have something. A transmission beacon. It is broadcasting a message. Play it." Admiral Park's face appeared on screen. "General Krath, if you want Earth, you will have to go through us first. We will be waiting at coordinates attached to this message. Come if you dare." The message ended. Krath smiled. "They think they can choose the battlefield. How amusing. Helm, take us to those coordinates." "General, those coordinates are in the Dead Star system," his navigator said nervously. "I know where it is," Krath snapped. "Are you afraid of gravity?" "Sir, that system is dangerous. Our ships are designed for war," Krath interrupted. "And we have 300 of them. Whatever trick these humans have planned, we will crush them with numbers. Move." The fleet jumped. When they arrived at the Dead Star system, Krath finally understood the trap. The 3 neutron stars spun around each other in a deadly dance. Their gravity pulled at his ships. Warning alarms filled every bridge. "Maintain formation," Krath ordered. "Keep shields at maximum." "General, the gravity is affecting our engines," his chief engineer reported. "We cannot maintain standard velocity." "Then adjust," Krath said. "Where are the human ships?" As if answering his question, the human fleet appeared. They came from behind one of the neutron stars, using its gravity to accelerate. 78 ships against 300. Krath laughed. "They are insane. All ships open fire." The Turvan fleet fired. Hundreds of energy beams shot through space. But the human ships were already moving. They dove and twisted, using the gravity wells to change direction in ways that should have been impossible. Only 3 human ships were hit. All 3 survived with damaged shields. Then the humans fired back. They did not target the Turvan ships directly. They targeted the space around them. Missiles exploded in careful patterns. Energy beams heated the stellar matter floating between the stars. The environment became even more chaotic. "What are they doing?" Krath demanded. Commander Kang on the human flagship Discovery answered a similar question from his own captain. "We are adding chaos to chaos. The Turvans are trying to calculate safe paths through the gravity. We are making those calculations impossible." Human ships wove between the Turvan formation. They fired from unexpected angles. They used the neutron stars like shields, appearing and disappearing behind them. Pilot Sora Han led her fighter squadron in a crazy attack run. They flew directly at a Turvan battleship, skimming so close to a neutron star that the radiation made their shields scream. At the last moment, they released their missiles and pulled up. The missiles hit the Turvan ship's engines. The ship lost power. The gravity grabbed it. The massive vessel was pulled toward the neutron star. Its hull crumpled like paper. "One down," Sora reported, moving to next target. Her squadron danced through the chaos. They were small enough to maneuver freely, fast enough to escape when the Turvans tried to target them. They took out ship after ship, but the Turvans were learning. Krath reorganized his fleet. He abandoned tight formations. He spread his ships out. He started predicting where the humans would appear. "Target that cluster of human ships," he ordered. Full power. 50 Turvan ships fired at once. The space filled with energy. 3 human ships disappeared in explosions. 2 more took critical damage. Park watched from the Discovery. The odds were still impossible. They were hurting the Turvans, but not enough. He needed something dramatic. "Boram, is it ready?" he asked. "It is crazy," Boram replied from engineering. "It might destroy us. Will it work?" "Maybe. 60% chance." "Do it." Boram activated a device she had been working on for 2 weeks. It was a gravity amplifier, designed to link with the neutron star's natural fields. She fired it. The space between the stars twisted. Gravity waves rippled outward. Every ship in the system felt it. The Turvan ships, with their heavy armor and massive size, were pulled violently. Ships collided. Formation broke apart completely. The human ships, lighter and more maneuverable, rode the waves. Park had planned for this. His pilots had trained for it. "All ships attack pattern chaos," Park ordered. The human fleet struck. They hit the Turvan ships while they were struggling with the gravity. It was like kicking someone while they were falling down. Effective but merciless, Krath tried to restore order. Reform formation." But it was too late. His ships were scattered. Some were being pulled toward the neutron stars. Others were trying to escape the system. The formation that had looked so impressive was now a mess. Park saw his opening. Concentrate fire on their flagship. Every available human ship turned toward the Dominator. Krath's massive vessel was powerful, but it was also a target too big to miss. Missiles slammed into its shields. Energy beams burned through armor. Krath's ship shook with each impact. "Return fire," Krath roared. "Kill them all!" The Dominator fired everything it had. Human ships exploded. The carrier Endeavor took a direct hit to its reactor. It died instantly, taking 300 crew with it. But the humans did not stop. They kept coming. Captain Lee brought her ship, still stationed near Quillen, into the system. She had jumped the moment she heard the battle had started. Now she joined the attack on the Dominator. "For the Quillen," she shouted. "For Earth!" Her ship fired at point-blank range. The Dominator's shields collapsed. Armor peeled away. Krath's bridge exploded. The general died, still cursing the humans. Without their commander, the Turvan fleet broke. Some ships tried to fight. Most tried to flee. The human fleet chased them down. It was brutal, bloody, but necessary. When it ended, space was full of debris, dead ships, bodies. The price of victory. Park stood on his bridge looking at the damage reports. 23 human ships destroyed. 11 more too damaged to fight. The remaining 44 were all hurt to some degree. But the Turvan armada was shattered. Of 300 ships, less than 50 escaped. The rest were destroyed or captured. "Send a message to Earth," Park said quietly. "Tell them we won." Across the human fleet there was no celebration. Just exhaustion, relief, and grief for the friends who did not survive. On Earth, President Song received the news. She walked out onto the balcony of her office. Dawn was breaking over Seoul. She looked at the sky and thought about the people who had died out there in the dark. Was it worth it? Her aide asked. Song nodded slowly. Yes, because if we had done nothing, the Quillen would be dead. And we would have died anyway when the Turvans came. At least now we chose to die standing up. But we did not die, the aide said. No, Song agreed. We did not. And now everyone knows that. In the Turvan capital, High Chancellor Morn watched the reports come in. His greatest fleet, gone. His best general, dead. His empire's reputation, shattered by primitives. He sat in silence for a long time. Then he spoke to his remaining advisors. Contact Earth. Tell them we wish to negotiate. The galaxy held its breath. High Chancellor Morn arrived at the neutral station 3 days after the battle. He came in a small diplomatic vessel, not the massive warship he preferred. It felt like defeat before the negotiations even started. President Dal Nim Song was already there. She sat at a conference table in a plain room. No decorations, no ceremony, just business. Ambassador Tae-min Choi stood behind her. Admiral Park sat to her right. Morn entered with 2 advisors. He expected fear in the human leader's eyes. Instead, he saw cold determination. High Chancellor, Song said. No greeting. No pleasantries, President Song. Morn sat across from her. I come to discuss peace terms. Peace? Song's voice was sharp. You can start by explaining why you think you deserve peace. Your forces attacked the Quillen without provocation. You were committing genocide. It was conquest, Morn corrected. A legitimate expansion of our territory. Call it what you want, Song said. It ends now. Here are our terms. You will withdraw from all Quillen territory immediately. You will pay reparations to rebuild what you destroyed. You will surrender your military commanders to stand trial for war crimes. Morn's scales darkened with anger. Those terms are unacceptable. We still have forces. We still have power. You cannot dictate to us like we are defeated. Cannot? Park spoke for the first time. We destroyed your largest fleet. Your best general is dead. Your reputation is ruined. Every species in the galaxy now knows you can be beaten. We can raise more fleets, Morn insisted. Can you? Song leaned forward. While you raise those fleets, Earth will be liberating the worlds you conquered. We will be spreading word of what happened. We will be helping other species stand up to you. She paused. How long do you think your empire will last when people stop being afraid of you? Morn was silent. He had not considered this. The psychological impact of the defeat, the emboldening of potential rebels, the loss of fear that had held his empire together. There is another option, Song continued. You can fight. You can try to destroy us, but it will cost you everything. Because we will not stop. We will fight you across the galaxy. We will free every species you have enslaved. And in the end, your empire will collapse anyway. Or, Morn asked, or you can accept our terms. Painful but survivable. You stay in control of your core worlds. You keep your government. But you stop expanding. You stop conquering. And you let us watch to make sure you follow through. Morn looked at his advisors. They looked back helplessly. What choice did they have? The humans had proven they could win. And if Earth started liberating Turvan-held worlds, the Empire would fracture. I need time to consider, Morn said. You have 1 hour, Song replied. Morn stood and left. In the corridor outside, he raged at his advisors. This is humiliation. We are the Turvan Empire. We do not bow to primitives. Chancellor, one advisor said carefully. If we refuse, they will start attacking our occupied territories. The vaccine system, the Trell colonies, they will not stop. And other species will join them. Morn knew it was true. The humans had done the impossible. They had shown that the Turvan Empire could bleed. Now everyone would want a peace. He returned to the conference room 50 minutes later. We accept. With modifications, we will withdraw from Quillen space. We will pay limited reparations, but we will not surrender our officers. That is our line, Song considered. She looked at Park and Taman. They had discussed this possibility. They had expected Morn to refuse the war crimes trials. Agreed, Song said. But there will be observers. Human monitors will be placed in your occupied territories. If we hear reports of atrocities, the deal is void. Observers? Morn's voice dripped with contempt. You lost, Song said simply. This is what losing looks like. Morn signed the treaty. His hand shook with suppressed rage. When it was done, he stood and left without another word. Song watched him go. That will not last forever, she said to her advisors. No, Park agreed. But it will last long enough. Long enough for other species to arm themselves. Long enough for the galaxy to change. Back on Earth, the news of the treaty was celebrated. People filled the streets. Ships in orbit fired their engines in salute. They had won. Against impossible odds, they had won. But in the military command center, Admiral Park knew better. This was not victory. It was breathing space. The Turvans would rebuild. They would plan. They would want revenge. He called Captain Lee on secure channel. How are things at Quillen? Lee appeared on his screen. She looked tired but happy. Good, the Quillen are rebuilding. We are helping. Dr. Kim has set up a permanent medical facility. She is training Quillen doctors in our techniques. And their defenses? We are teaching them. They are learning fast. They will never be warriors, but they are learning to protect themselves. Lee paused. Admiral, something is happening here. The Quillen were pacifists. They had never hurt anyone, but now they understand that sometimes you need to fight to protect what you love. Good, Park said. They will need that understanding. On Quillen, Dr. Yuna Kim worked in her new hospital. It was built with both human and Quillen technology. The results were impressive. Quillen healing abilities combined with human medical knowledge created treatments neither species could achieve alone. A young Quillen named Nira worked beside her. Nira had lost her family in the attacks. Now she was training to be a doctor. Dr. Kim, may I ask you something? Of course, Kim said while treating a patient. Why did your people come? You did not know us. We had nothing to offer you. Why risk your lives? Kim thought about how to answer. Because it was right. Because we heard you calling. Because we are human, and humans do not ignore people in trouble. Even strangers? Especially strangers. Anyone can help their friends. It takes something special to help people you have never met. Nira was quiet. Then she said, We are not strangers anymore. Kim smiled. No, we are not. In the Galactic Council, the atmosphere had changed. The condemnation of Earth seemed hollow now. The humans had won. They had forced the Turvans to negotiate. They had saved the Quilenda ambassador Taemin Choi addressed the council again. The chamber was quieter this time. More respectful. We have heard your laws, Taemin said. We have heard your arguments. But we have also heard something you have not heard in a long time. We heard the sound of people who need help being saved. Not debated. Not studied, saved. The council speaker responded carefully. Earth's actions have created precedent. Others may now feel justified in interfering wherever they wish. Good, Taemin said. Let them. Let species help each other. Let the strong protect the weak. Is that not better than your current system, where laws protect the powerful and abandon the helpless? Several council members shifted uncomfortably. A few nodded slightly. We are not asking you to abandon all laws, Taemin continued, but your non-interference law is broken. It protects aggressors and punishes victims. It needs to change, and if we refuse to change it, the speaker asked. Taemin smiled coldly. Then Earth will continue to break it, and each time we do, more species will join us. Eventually, you will be a council that no one respects and no one follows. He left the chamber. Behind him, the council began the longest debate in its history. Weeks passed, then months. Earth's fleet returned home to celebrations and parades. The wounded were treated. The dead were honored. Life slowly returned to normal. But across the galaxy, things were changing. Small species that had been conquered began to rebel. They had seen what happened to the Turvans. They knew now that tyrants could be defeated. Uprisings erupted on a dozen worlds. The Turvans tried to crush these rebellions. But human observers reported every atrocity. Earth threatened to intervene. The Turvans backed down. Other aggressive empires noticed. They became more careful, more cautious. The easy conquests of the past were no longer easy, and species that had been neutral started making new alliances. They reached out to Earth. They wanted friendship, protection, partnership. President Song handled these requests carefully. Earth could not defend the entire galaxy, but they could help. They could teach. They could stand with others when needed. 6 months after the Battle of Dead Stars, Song met with Elder Vex on Quillen. The Quillen leader looked healthier now. Their people were recovering. Cities were rebuilt. Children played in parks again. President Song, Vex said, we wish to formalize our relationship with Earth. Not just gratitude, but partnership. We call it the Treaty of Shared Sky. Song read the proposed treaty. It was beautiful. A commitment to mutual defense, shared technology, cultural exchange, true friendship between species. We would be honored, Song said. The treaty was signed in a ceremony attended by representatives from both worlds. It was broadcast across the galaxy. Other species watched with interest. Within a month, 3 more species approached Earth with similar proposals. The beginning of something new. An alliance based not on power but on shared values. Protection of the innocent. Opposition to tyranny. Help for those who called out in desperation. On Earth, Admiral Park prepared for the future. He knew there would be more conflicts, more battles. The galaxy was full of aggressors who saw weakness as opportunity. But now those aggressors had to consider Earth. They had to ask themselves if the prize was worth facing human determination, human creativity, human refusal to accept defeat.